And with large organizations, it's particularly powerful.
Delighted to have you back. Strategic Selling Group, friends of mine, followers and so on. I hope I'm bringing great value, particularly with Joanne Black. Welcome back, Joanne.
Thank you, John.
Hey, Joanne, a lot of our followers out there are working in large organisations, selling to large organisations, so you've got big accounts.
That's right.
I'd like to talk a little bit about how referral selling should be applied in that area. And I know that's a key area of your consulting, the work you do is in large accounts. So can we talk about that a little bit?
There's this term, which you know, account-based selling.
Mm-hmm.
And really that's no different than what you and I always did. We had named accounts, certain number of accounts, and it was our job to do business for those accounts.
That's right.
Right. So now we have a term called land and expand. So as salespeople, it's our job to get in, do a stellar job, do business, and then expand into other areas of the country, of the account. So what's the best way to do that? It's through a referral introduction. That's how you expand. But more importantly, it's how you get in.
In the first place.
In the first place, yes.
Of course.
So you receive an introduction to the person you want to meet. And that way you get that meeting in one call. Now, that may or may not be the decision maker for that particular line of business, but it could be. Then they'll make a referral to someone else. It may be someone very, very senior, and they'll refer you to someone else on their team. Well, when that happens, you always get the meeting as well.
Right.
And then you have relationships with all the people that are going to be involved in the decision.
In this day and age, according to CEB, that's a number of, it's gone from 5.4 to 6.8 or whatever it is per account.
That's
on
right.
an average.
So I don't know who the 8/10 of a person is, but at any rate.
But I've been involved in accounts where there's really can be, in any decision, can be 10 or 12 people that are heavily involved in influencing the decision.
That's right. So you need to know who the decision maker is, who has the budget, what the timeline is, who is influencer, who's a user, all of that. And you need to speak differently to each of those people, depending on what's important to them. That's a very difficult task. That's why the salesperson who is savvy knows how to ask questions, dig in, what we call peel the onion, get to the real issue, because I've found many times what the client says is the real issue is never the real issue, or rarely so. We need to get to that level and know what the issue is, and if we can address it.
Exactly.
Right? So
exactly.
Here's the thing. I think top salespeople, we know if we don't have the solution, that we can say we don't have the solution.
And maybe refer them to somebody else.
Exactly.
I think that's vital in this day and age, that we really are there for the customer. We're there to help the customer think through the issues and challenges they've got and help the customer achieve the outcomes they're looking for. And you're absolutely right. If we haven't got a product or service that actually helps them do that, at least we're helping them through that process. We're helping them with the, creating value in their own mind, and we'll be the first person to be invited back next time.
That's right. And to be referred to other areas. So here's what happens. We've had this discussion that I ask every sales team I talk to, have you asked each and every one of your client connections for a referral? Answer is always no. We have a huge opportunity just left on the table. Even lost business. What do you have to lose? I mean, if you can't help them, you can certainly ask them for a referral to someone who is your ideal client.
Exactly.
If you're in a position when you've lost a piece of business, you can also ask, because how do they feel when they told you, didn't get the business this time?
And it could have been that you just really didn't have the fit, but they loved the way you brought value to them through their thinking process.
That's right.
They'd be very happy to refer you.
But they're not going to do it unless we ask.
Okay. And asking is not as simple as what you say it is. It really needs a systemised approach to doing that within the organisation, and that applies to large accounts. I've got people out there that I know who I've got a relationship with that will be listening to this or reading it, and they've got just one account.
Yes.
A big bank that they manage and they sell to and so on. All these principles apply just as well when you've got one account versus 10 accounts versus 20 accounts and so on.
Absolutely apply. And with large organizations, it's particularly powerful. And here's the other thing. So I want to be referred into my named accounts to other divisions of the company, correct? That's my main goal. But I can also ask for referrals to people in their network to other companies and refer them to other salespeople. But the sales leaders need to make that happen in the organization and know it's okay. In fact, I had one client, John, that 50% of his revenue was from referrals he made to other salespeople because he got a percentage of what they sold because he wouldn't have had the business unless he gotten the referral.
And you raise another thought in my mind. That's a really good point. But back to looking around the whole network, if I'm talking to my customer's customer, it's a great way to get a referral back in that way as well.
Absolutely. Get a referral every time. Don't miss an opportunity. But remember to ask every single one of the people you've come in contact with or your team has come in contact with for an introduction to people they know. And here's a mistake many people make. Depending on who the person is, they'll say, they couldn't possibly know anyone, especially if we have a very complex, sophisticated solution, and say it's someone who's using our product, etc. We won't ask because we'll say they won't know anyone. We don't know who people know. And here's the thing about social media. People know what we put up there. Nobody knows who my brother-in-law is, who my sister is, who my kids are, where they work, who my next door neighbor is, who my walking partner is. Nobody knows that.
Right.
You don't know who people know, so we must always be asking. That's what I say. ABA, always be asking.
Always be asking. The other thing that I've seen in referrals is people ask, I think sometimes the wrong question, do you know anybody that could use my product? The reality is, if you've been talking to this customer using insights and talking about the challenges they're facing, the much better question is, do you know anybody that has challenges like you've had that I should be talking to?
I'd like to rephrase that.
Please, you're the expert.
So that you should know, who they're connected to. So doing your research first to see some of that, and even if they don't know those people, you've given them a snapshot of the people you want to meet. Here's the question. Who do you know I should be meeting? They can't say no to that question.
Okay, there's a very, very, very good bit of insight. Joanne, thank you. So the bottom line on this discussion, we're talking about large accounts, is that, to me, it's simple. Referral selling is probably just as, if not more important in large accounts as it is if you're selling to small accounts. It's the same process, it's the same methodology, it's the same culture you need in your organisation, the same method, the same systems you need, the metrics, everything we've talked about before to make referring selling successful, you need in large accounts. Really important.
Critical. Absolutely essential, no matter who you're selling to. But you think about large accounts and reaching people in those large accounts, very, very difficult. But a one-call meeting when you get that referral introduction.
Exactly, and you've come in, them already knowing you to some extent, knowing that you're able to bring value to the table, you're off and running straight away.
That's it.
Thanks, Joanne. Great advice. Look forward to talking to you next time.
Thank you, John.